One of the most stupid things in the Quran, which is proving Muhammad to be a false man as usual, is when he tried to explain why he keeps forgetting his Quran, or why he keeps changing his mind. You see, if Muhammad he come with something, and then another Muslim prophet, as the Muslim called them, came after 200 years and say, you know what, this was for that time, it's not for this time. We can take that, no problem. Like, you know, things change, human being life change, requirement change. But this is the same idiot, his name is Muhammad, who knows who is his father, who was born 4 years after his father's death. Explain why he keeps changing his mind. He say, Allah abolish whatever he wills, and he affirms with him is the source of the scriptures. So, you know, and by the way, translation is false. It doesn't say and the source of the scriptures. It says and he have the mother of the book, which is very funny of statement, because now we have a Quran and we have the mother of the Quran. So here you notice that Muhammad trying to explain that his God, he's as a moody God, he have a reasoning, you know, and if you read the verses before it, it doesn't make sense. We sent messengers before you, and we made for them wives and children. And it was not for a prophet to come with any sign without except with the permission of Allah. What does that mean? If you read the verse before it, you will notice that the verse before it have nothing to do with the verse after it. Thus we revealed in Arabic not code, hukman, which mean Allah, where you to follow their desire after the knowledge has come to you. You would have neither ally nor the defender of against Allah. What does that mean? And what does this mean? And what that mean? It's just a stupid talk. Here it says, and those who we gave them scriptures rejoice in what was revealed to you. Who are they, those who he gave them the scriptures? The Christians and the Jews? Well, they did not. While some, look at this madness. While some factions reject part of it, say, I am commanded to worship Allah and to never associate anything with him, to him, and I invite, and to him is my return. What the heck is that? And what they accept and what they reject? How a book like this can be a book? Shouldn't we know now what we are talking about? So did Allah reveal with the Quran a book? It's called interpretation of the Quran, so we can understand the stupidity here. You will notice that this book is not a book. It's just a flight of thoughts. None of them match. Look at this. Now he was talking about those who gave them the scriptures. Now he's talking here about the heaven. And now hell. And now he is saying that he is the best who misguide people. Read with me. You can read, we are reading chapter 13, the chapter of the thunder. And by the way, chapter 13, which means verse number 13 too, says that the thunder is an angel of Allah. Angel, literally, it's not like metaphorical. But here it says, in this verse, that Allah, he is the charge of misguiding people. And the one who Allah misguide, read with me. I'm not making it up. It's in front of you. And the one who Allah misguide, no one can guide. So shaitan, if he misguide you, he can be guided. But if Allah misguide you, nobody can guide you. So Allah is more powerful as deceiver, filthy. He is the biggest Satan. You see, there's a small Satan and there's a big Satan. and Allah is the biggest Satan. And the stupid big Satan, Allah, in order to explain why he keeps changing his mind, because people are laughing at what he do. It's like a monkey jumping from a place. He say that he is the big Satan, Allah. He abolishes whatever he will, and he affirm with him the mother of the scriptures. What the heck is that mean? You abolish what? You gave Muhammad a verse yesterday, you abolish it in the second day. Why? Are you drunk when you gave it? Were you drinking whiskey and Black Label? Are you taking hashish? They say to you that Allah is all-knowing. Allah obviously is not all-knowing. Otherwise, he will not abolish what he just said yesterday, because nothing changed since Muhammad he went to sleep. In the chapter of the Hindu, the madman Muhammad, he continued claiming his God gave him this verse. The chapter of the Hindu, the cow, verse number 106. And we never nullify a verse. Allah himself, he delete verses. Do you see the preserved Quran? Nor we cause it to be forgotten unless we bring one better than it or similar to do it. Imagine somebody burn your house because you want to build similar house. Imagine somebody kill your wife because you want to give you a similar wife. And you know what make it more stupid? That the Muslim says that Allah Quran is amazing. But look what Allah says. Unless we bring better. Imagine the stupid Muhammad saying that Allah will make a better Quran than the Quran. Isn't it? This is fun. And what make it more stupid, he will make it similar. So I will make a verse. I say, shish kebab, I like shish kebab. And then second day I change my mind. I say, I don't like shish kebab, but this is similar to the one I said before. I like shish kebab. I mean, what the heck is that? Why you want to cause them to forget it if you want to make similar? Are you stupid or what? And why you want to make Quran, later you regret making this Quran, so you decide to make better. And how you solve the problem? You abolish, you might cause them to forget. You cause the Muslim to forget the Quran. So Muslims are lying to us. They say we never forget Quran, when the Quran is saying I caused him to forget Quran. And who is the one who caused the Quran to be forgotten? Shaitan, according to the Quran. So while the stupid Muhammad says that Allah make the Muslim forget the Quran, and that is his act, which is okay, here, chapter 5, verse number 14, Allah accusing the Christians that they forgotten much of the scriptures. But he is the one who make people forget the scriptures. And likewise, and those who say, behold, we are Christians, we have accepted a solemn pledge, and they too have forgotten. But who is the one who made people forget the Quran and the scriptures of Allah? Allah. Aka Shaitan. Stop here. There is something we need to read. Here we see that Muhammad, Allah blame him that he is sitting with those who speak against his scriptures, and he is accusing the one who make him forget that he should not sit between them is Shaitan. Read with me. When you encounter those who speak against the scriptures, not gossip, what gossip? Our revelation, turn away from them until they engage in another topic. So then we go. So what Muhammad talk about iPad and iPod, when they speak about scriptures, he leave, he run? What the heck? This must be a true prophet of God. But should Satan make you forget? So who is the one who make Muhammad forget? The scriptures and what he should do and what he should not. Shaitan. But in the previous verse, Allah, he said that the Christians, they forgot the scriptures. The Muslim might say to you, well, Allah is saying here they forgot, but doesn't mean really they forgot. Mean they did not follow. But that means Allah is a stupid God. He don't speak good Arabic. Because forget mean forget, remember mean for remember. So either you remind me, or you are, using the wrong word. You say, well, you know what? You are not acknowledging what I gave you. You are lying. This is not what I said to you. You are hiding the truth because this is not what I taught you. But when you say you forgot, that's mean he forgot. Forgot me, forgot. Forgot is not something. You did it on purpose. If you did it on purpose, that means it's not forgotten. As simple as that. In the same time, we will find this in the stupid Quran again. In chapter 5, verse number 44, which the same chapter Muhammad accused the Christian and the Jews with many things, show us that Allah is a stupid God. Read carefully. So Allah gave the scriptures to the Torah and the gospel to the Christians and the Jews. Allah, He entrusted the priests, the rabbis, in the protection of the scriptures. Read carefully. I'm not the one who's saying that. After those prophets, between two brackets, by the way, everything you see here between two brackets, this is the corruption of the Muslims, because their book is so stupid you can't understand what the heck this guy is saying. They have to add a lot of, shish kebab, hummus, spices, because it's just an empty table. And by adding those things, maybe then the text will make little sense. So the Christians and the Jews, or the Jews in this case here, they are putting in the two bracket, Allah, He entrusted them of what? He entrusted them over the protection of Allah book. And here you see why we laugh at Muhammad the scumbag. How Allah is all-knowing. How the Muslim believe in destiny. And how Allah used the word entrusted. You see the word trust, it's mean I believe in you. If I know that you are not trustworthy, I will not use the word trust. He did not say, I gave them the book and they did corrupt the book. No. He is giving us the reasoning to give them the book, and He gave them the trust to protect the book, which means He gave him a job to do. But it's not just a job, He trusted them, which means He did not know that they will corrupt the book. Because the second you say, I trusted you, you are saying, I believe in you, that you are a good person. Then if you turn to be not a trustworthy, that means I was wrong about trusting you. So Allah here must be wrong. He trusted the Jews when He should not do that. That means Allah do not know the future. In the top of that, if we ask the Muhammadan, the corruption of the Torah or the Bible was according to Allah will or against Allah will? According to Muslim belief, everything happened by the will of Allah. So who is the one who caused the Jews to forget the Quran and the Torah and the Gospel? Allah. Who is the one who make people remember the Torah and the Quran and the God? Allah. Who is the one who caused to abrogate and abolish or to renew? Allah. Who is the one who made Adam commit sin and disobey Allah? As we see the story in Adam and Eve and Musa's debate. Adam, he says to Musa, do you blame me for a plan, for a fate Allah He wrote for me 40,000 years or 40 years, depending on the report, before He created me? And Muhammad, he agreed that Adam, he won the debate. You cannot blame Adam for his sin. It was destiny. So this is how stupid and confusing and dummy this Muhammad is. He's trying to argue with the Christians, and always he fails miserably. In fact, when the Christians come to him, challenging him for a real debate, the whole day we are waiting in front of his door, he never even opened the door. He never even put his head out. Second day he come back and he told them the following: Muhammad, he have to get rid of the Christians who he cannot refute them. At that time he is not strong enough to kill them all. He said, if any of you, if anyone dispute with you about him who? This is how stupid the Quran. This is about Jesus supposedly. After the knowledge that has come to you, say, come, 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 let us call our children and your children, and our women and your women, and ourselves and yourself, and let us invoke the curse of Allah in the liars. Are you saying to me that if I don't invoke Allah and I am a liar, I will not be punished for my lie? Do I need an invite? Hey Allah, come in, I invite you to. This is how stupid he is. He cannot debate them. In the same time, the stupid Muhammad, he do not know that those Christians who came to him from Najran, they are monks. They don't have wives. They don't have children. And what the children and the wives have to do with this? A cursing party. Same time, the one who lied, do he even care about the curse of God? He knew he's lying. I mean, if a person is lying, what is the logic to say to him, swear by Allah you are not lying? Are you donkey? I mean, he knew he's lying. Oh, you know, if the guy he knew he disobeyed God, do he really care for invoking? Are you saying to me, Muhammad, and you will not be punished unless you ask Allah to punish you? So if I go fornicate now, unless I ask Allah to punish me, he will not punish. This is stupid. Same time, if a Muslim, he argue with me and say he believe in Allah, I say to him, Allah is a fiction, stupid God. It doesn't exist. This is the moon God. It exists before Muhammad. Allah. A Muslim, if he say he believe in Allah as God, he is not lying to me. This is what he believe. He believe in lie. Yes, the lie is Allah. But when he say I believe in Allah, he is not lying. So here again you see the low IQ of the stupid Muhammad, because a person who believe in something, even if it was a lie, he is not lying. He believe in a lie, maybe, maybe not, but he is not lying. He believe in it. So if those Christians believe that Jesus is God, and if you are saying they are believing in a lie, they are not lying, because simply this is what they believe. This is believe. The Quran always fail to be a book of anything except stupidity. Muhammad cannot debate, he cannot refute. Muhammad, he accused Allah that he is the one who caused people to forget everything. He is the one who made people remember everything. He is the one who make you commit sin. He is the one who make you do horrible things. And then Allah will cause you to be punished for what he caused you to do. This is how stupid this cult garbage religion is. In this hadith, this is al-Bukhari, very authentic, you will put the final shot on the head of the filthy Muhammad. Muhammad here is speaking about destiny. The destiny which Allah he wrote for you. Al-Qadr. Al-Qadr means destiny. So what is that? The book of destiny here, it says that a Muslim, he is praying to Allah all his life. When Allah he created him, he wrote a destiny for him in his creation. And this person, Muhammad, he gave two examples. One is a person who commit no sin, or let us say he did. I mean, every human commits sin, but let us say he is praying to Allah 5 times a day, killing Christians, raping Hindu women, do everything Islam requires him to go to heaven. And then, after doing all of those things, Muhammad, he says, swearing, sorry, the pages keep jumping, swearing, saying, but by Allah, one of you, he might do, I don't know why it keep jumping, let me hold on. I had to take a screenshot because the page keep jumping. So Muhammad here, he swear, saying here that by Allah, one of you, he's giving an example like any one of you, you know, a person among you, any man, he might do the deeds of the people of the fire till there is only one cubit, an arm breadth distance between him and the fire. But then what is written between two brackets, which Allah ordered the angels to write, proceed, and he does the deeds of the people of paradise, and then he entered. Ooh. So this guy is doing the act of hellfire non-stop all his life. Then against his choice, what is written by the angels, because the angels obviously wrote for him that he should go to heaven. So against his own will, the person start acting very good, which means killing Christians, killing Jews, raping Hindu women, cursing people, stealing the money of the Christians, all kind of filthy stuff, which will make him a good Muslim. So he is doing those things against his will, and now he will go to heaven. And then Muhammad, he continues saying the following, and he does the deed of people of paradise, and he entered it. And then he says, and a man, other man, may do the deeds of people of paradise till there is only a cubit or two between him and paradise. Then that being written, proceed, and he does the deed of people of fire, and he enter it. Now you can understand why I say that Islam is a bullshit. Excuse me. So now you are doing your best to serve Allah, to do jihad, to kill, to rape, as a good Muslim do. And now what Allah wrote for you as a destiny will proceed and overcome your act by choice, and now you end in hell. So who in hell wanna believe in such a garbage piece of shit religion? Is it fair that the person spent his life praying to Allah, worshipping Allah, killing for the sake of Allah and Muhammad, and then what is written proceed, and then he act against his will and he go to hell? As you see, Muhammad is a mentally ill, sick person, stupid. Your destiny overcome you, and then overcome your will act, and then you act as people of hell. And this is a different hadith, but it's the same, it's authentic from the same book. The destiny overcome him, and he began to act as people of hellfire, and he go to hell. So what Islam is about? It's just a stupid cult. It doesn't matter what you do. It's what is written for you. It's in the front of your eyes, Abdul. So Abdul, I advise you now, don't not obey Allah, disobey Allah. Who cares? It's what's written there is going to take over. This is the most stupid religion ever. Leave your comment and prove me wrong. Mr. Christian Prince, busting your filthy, stupid God who is unjust. This is nothing but unjust. This is nothing but satanic. In fact, Muhammad now encouraging you to do all kind of filth, because you believe now it's just destiny anyway. If I rape, if I kill, if I cheat, if I lie, if I'm good, if I'm bad, who cares? At the end of the day, it is just stupid destiny. What is written will take over, not what I wish. Thank you. Christ is our Lord, and he is the God of justice. And his justice is, from their fruits you shall know them, not from my destiny of a fruit who I made them do, I will judge them. Based on this stupid statement of your Quran and your Prophet, he will make you bear bad fruit or good fruit, and then he will punish you bear in the fruit or based on the fruits which he made you, forced you to do. How stupid are you? See ya.